warehouse in Berkeley on 4th Street, where 3rd Street was the train tracks and 1st Street was the bay. We lived across from this incredibly toxic looking ink factory. You don't really think about ink, but it definitely seems like it will kill you when you live across the street from it. There's nothing between us and the train tracks except this empty parking lot. So when the train would go by, this was the big California Metro liner, the big train that ran up and down the coast 4, 5, 6 times a day and into the night. And when the train would go by, the whole building would shake. And when the whistle blew, and the whistle faded away, it was the coolest sound I've ever heard. To this day, I just don't mind trains. They just take me home. It was just kind of this 4-story chimney we lived in, like the type of one room straight up. And on the 3rd floor where we spent most of our time, there was this weird heating thing. It was like a 6-foot square grate with holes in it that hung about 10 feet in the air, and it was suspended by chains, so it kind of leaned out over us. And when you turn the switch below it, it would go click, 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 and then the whole fucking thing would burst into flames. Like someone's bright idea was to put a fireplace 10 feet in the air, hanging down over us. It was just this gas range that, listen, it was the single most unsafe heating system I have ever seen. But I did like to come home drunk and just sit there turning it on and turning it off and turning it on and turning it off. It was like this window into the sky which was on fire. To me. We didn't really know where we were going with our lives because, you know, they're not paying you to play music back then. They weren't paying us anyways. So, you know, we spent our days rummaging through the used bins when we weren't working, trying to find whatever record we were trying to find. And we'd walk up to the 99-cent store in San Pablo and we'd buy these bashed-in boxes of macaroni and cheese or these dented cans of Progresso soup or ramen. I mean a lot of ramen. I feel like we all ate a lot of ramen at one point. And those were our days, but our nights, and I mean every single night, we would go out to play music. Or we would go rehearse to play music, or we would watch our friends play music, but every night was wrapped in this blanket of volume. We would go out to play rock and roll in these shitty, awesome clubs in San Francisco, till all hours of the night. We would just go out every night and make the loudest sounds we could, and those were the sounds that took us from childhood to adulthood. Every night. Stepping on guitar pedals, crashing chords, smashing cymbals, the squeal of keyboards, just the loudest sounds we could make just to try and get someone to notice us. And then you did. And somehow you still do, and that shit will get you through. That is the kind of thing that gets people like us from there to here. 'Cause there's a girl on a car out in the parking lot, and she says, man, come on, take a shot. Can you see me? She said, can you see that my walls tumbling down? Can you see that my walls crumbling down? Well, I saw when the moon stopped spinning around, and I watched the sky go blue, black, green, gray, brown. And I saw when the sun stopped flashing around. Well, she said, can you see me? But there's a girl